Welcome to day 34. Sometimes I don't feel like worshiping. Sometimes life is hard. I'm feeling low on a day. I wake up, I'm tired, I've got a headache, or I know that, what's in store for me during the day or throughout that week is just, it's not fun. Sometimes I have those moments where I sit there and I go, God, why are you putting me in this situation? Why have you called me to this? This is hard. This isn't. Sometimes I just don't feel like worshiping. But I'm reminded of Matthew 26:30 and Mark 14:26. After Jesus has spent this time in the upper room with his followers, with his closest disciples, after he's walked them through all sorts of teachings that are difficult to hear and they're confusing and it's quite obvious that they don't fully comprehend what it is that he's saying. After he's announced to the group that Judas is going to betray him, after he's told Peter that you're going to deny me, after he's told all of them that you're all going to fall away from me, after he's told them that I'm going to go somewhere and you can't go with me, all of these difficult teachings, and knowing in his heart what's coming next, they sang a hymn. That when Jesus knew what was coming, he sang a hymn. That's not about necessarily the singing or the hymn, but what did Jesus do? He worshiped. He knew what was getting ready to happen, and yet he worshiped. He knew what was being said about him behind his back or to his face, and yet he worshiped. He knew that he had a friend betraying him in that moment, and yet he worshiped. He knew that those that he was closest to were going to fall away from him. They were going to abandon him, and yet he worshiped. It reminds me of the story of Paul and Silas when they're in that prison cell and they're worshiping in the prison cell. And our prison cells are nothing like their prison cells. I mean, ours aren't good and ours aren't comfortable, and they're not meant to be. But theirs were torture chambers, and yet they worshiped. Worship isn't about how you're feeling in a moment. Worship isn't about the song that's being sung if it's in a Sunday morning service or the radio comes on. Worship is about the one who is receiving the worship, not the one who's giving the worship. It's about who is receiving the worship. Jesus reminds us that it's not about how you're feeling. It's about who you're worshiping. There's a power in worship. There is a power in recognizing that this isn't all about us and it's not all about our trials. There is a power in recognizing verbally that there is one who is over all. As we sang several weeks ago now during our 40 days of prep, there is one who is worthy of it all. Those hardships that the Christian life bring, there is one who is worthy of all of that sacrifice that we feel like we're making. He is worthy of all of it. Tomorrow, we celebrate Palm Sunday, which is kind of going backwards in the story just a little bit. It's going back to before the upper room and before the temple cleansing. But we're going to come together and we're going to celebrate Palm Sunday, a moment when people truly were excited and they were worshiping Jesus as he came in, thinking that he was a different kind of king. We get to look back and we know what kind of king he is, and we get to worship him. This weekend, my invitation to you is, whether it's through a song, whether it's through a psalm, whether it's through writing a piece of poetry or praying out loud, my invitation to you is to recognize the moments that you're in, whether they are difficult or whether they are easy, but to worship in the midst of it. And if you're sitting there and you're going, I don't know what that looks like, I don't know how to worship, he gives us the church to help us pull one another in, to help us remind one another that he truly is worthy of it all. For many of you, I'll see you tomorrow for Palm Sunday. For the rest of you, I'll see you on Monday.